In this video, I'm going to give you 3 ways to receive your tax return faster. I guarantee you that if you follow these steps, you'll see that money in your bank account before you know it. But before we do that, go ahead, that like and subscribe button, and take a look at our channel for other videos having to do with taxes, as well as general ways to focus on getting your first penny to getting to your first million. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about how to file your taxes for free, then stick around to the end of this video and we're going to talk about exactly how to do that. All right, so jumping right into the video, before we go into the first tip on how to get your taxes faster, your tax returns faster, let's talk about how to find out where your tax return is and how to track exactly what's going on. So we're going to take a look right here at the irs.gov website. If you go to irs.gov/refunds, you can see that it'll take you to a page, your Where's My Refund page. And this gives you a quick rundown of where you are, what's happening with your tax refund after you've already submitted it. All you're going to need is you're going to need your social security number or your ITIN, your filing status, and then your exact refund amount. And so with all that information, you can click on the Check My Refund Status, and that'll pull up the next page. You'll plug in that information, and that'll give you an update on exactly where you are. It does want you to know that you should not be filing this unless it's been 21 days or more since you e-filed, or Where's My Refund tells you to contact them. Then at that period of time, then you should reach out to the IRS to find out where it's at. But generally speaking, this can give you exactly where your refund is, when you should expect it, and what to go on. And it also has some other good topics about, your refund information, tax season refund, frequently asked questions, direct deposits, and how you can amend your return. And so if you have a question on where it's at right now, then this is where I would recommend going to first before you jump to any conclusions. All right, and lastly, before we get to that first tip, I want to talk about what a tax refund is exactly. So you are paying taxes on a regular basis throughout the year, and then at the end of the year, you are having to pay whatever else is due, or the government is having to give you whatever else you overpaid. And so basically every paycheck, your employer is taking and withholding a certain amount of money from them for an estimated tax that they think you should be owing the government at the end of the year. And so if you end up taking too much money out at each paycheck, then the government will give you the difference between what you actually owe versus what you actually paid. And that difference comes in the form of a tax refund. So if you were to think about it, if you were paying exactly what you needed every paycheck, it would not cause you to have a refund at the end of the year. And so that refund is what you're receiving. So with that information, let's jump into the first tip for how you can get your tax return faster. So the first thing I want to talk about is filing your taxes online, e-filing, and then filing them as soon as you can. And so as long as you are filing them as early as possible, you're going to be jumping in the front of the line, and they will be able to process your tax return faster than if there are multiple people in front of you for that tax return to be processed. Also, if you're filing it online compared to filing it through the mail, that allows a quicker transition time between the moving of hands between yours to the actual IRS and then back to you. If you're having to file it through mail, then that's going to take time to go through the postal service, get to them, read it, and then come back to you. And overall, I just wouldn't recommend doing that because it's a lot easier to make some mistakes if you're doing it all by hand compared to if you're doing it all through an e-filing or a software system. Now, the other aspect of filing your taxes online is that you can opt to move into a direct deposit of your refund. Comparatively, if you're doing it through the mail and they're sending it in through a check, it will take an additional time to receive it and deposit it. Whereas if you want to get it faster, then you can choose to do that online, and you can have them directly deposit that into your bank account, and it can happen seamlessly without you having to worry about it. So I would highly recommend opting in for the direct deposit into your bank account and filing them online with some sort of online service and software like TurboTax, H&R, or the IRS free file system. If you're interested in figuring out that IRS free file program, then I will actually have a link at the end of this video for you to use to click on that and it'll give you a quick rundown of how that works. All right, so the second tip I'm going to talk about getting your tax refund faster is to make sure that you do your tax return correctly the first time. If you don't do it right the first time, that can lead to delays and even fees associated with interest for the actual money that you will have supposed to be paid to the government. They'll actually make you pay interest on that until you get that correct. So this is why I like to go back to going to the free softwares online with TurboTax and H&R Block, because it makes it very easy and seamless and reduces the actual errors possible for you to go along with your taxes. That being said, if you do this online, this gives you the time to, do your taxes, do them right, and it allows you to go back and check and recheck and double check and make sure that you did them right, so it does not lead to costly errors and time-consuming time that has to do with redoing your taxes correctly or any IRS audits down the road. All right, and the third and final tip, and this is probably the most important one, if you want to get your tax return faster, then let's go back to what we were talking about earlier in the video with what your tax return is exactly. If you are trying to get money back as fast as possible, if you just adjust your withholdings, you're adjusting your estimated taxes for each paycheck, then you will not be overpaying and therefore will not be getting a refund at the end of the year. And so a lot of people are used to saying, oh, I want as big a refund as possible. Well, if you adjust it appropriately where you're paying your adequate amount of taxes on a regular basis, then you will not get a refund, and then therefore you will have all the appropriate money you're supposed to have instead of giving the government a interest-free loan for the year. So the best way to get a faster tax return is to not pay and overpay your taxes in the first place. So there you have it. The best way to receive your tax return faster is to not overpay on your taxes in the first place. That gives you the top 3 tips that I have for getting your tax return faster on a regular basis. And so if you guys get some good information from this, hit that like and subscribe button. There are going to be some videos up here in the top corner that will be going over how to go through the IRS free file system, as well as other ways to file your taxes and just tax tips in general. As always, I wanted to let you know that we are here to help you with your first penny to your first million.